Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto absorbs Kaguya, time travel, part 4. Subscribe if you enjoy the video. Let's start the story. After the spar. Hokage's office. Kakashi, do you mean to tell me that you were beaten by a 9-year-old who just entered the academy? And that had no training? I would ask to make sure that it was Naruto, but the boy sticks out like an orange jumpsuit in the forest of death with his unique bright chakra. I feel like I should be worried and take some action about this, but I find myself apathetic. I know, right? Well, we were fighting. I knew in my mind that he was too strong and good to be natural, but I couldn't bring myself to express more than some slight surprise. I checked for a genjutsu, it was clear. It seems that the world is just weird in this instance. Oh well, I guess I'll give Naruto access to his parents' house and items. May as well make his heritage public too, since he can protect himself. And give him a promotion to Jonin. Sir, he isn't a ninja yet. Dang, sequence breaking throws me off every time. Give him the outfit then, since he can't have the rank. And you can be the brother you wanted. Same time. Uchiha compound. So, your boyfriend beat Kakashi, did he? I knew he was a good choice for you. Did you use the situation to your advantage? No, you probably didn't think so. But at least you made the first bit of progress with the girl he gave you. Yugaku had just received the status report from his daughter and was working on recalculating his plans. This boy is already strong enough to defeat Kakashi of the Sharingan. And Satsuki isn't having any luck prying him away from Hiyashi's daughter. I won't lose that boy to those empty-eyed bastards. I need to go through with the rebellion plan. I'll have Satsuki take Naruto to the farthest training ground to keep him away from watchful eyes. I'll send Shisui to put the boy in to get him off the Hyuga, then Satsuki can do the rest herself. Then we will use the distracted state of the Hyuga to eliminate our competition. Until then, Satsuki, I want you to train with your boy every day after class. Pull whatever strings are necessary. Don't let training your pink-haired maid interrupt with this. Am I understood? Satsuki bowed. Yes sir Naruto, you already are mine, even if you don't know it yet. Next day, Hyuga compound. The day was the anniversary of Hisana Hyuga, Hinata's mother. Naruto was told of her incurable disease soon after his engagement was made official. Hisana called the young couple to her room to give them her blessing and to explain to her future son-in-law that she was dying. Naruto had left after declaring that he would find Tsunade and bring her back for a cure. Unfortunately, there were no leads to the woman's whereabouts. She seemed to have completely dropped off the face of the elemental nations immediately after leaving the Leaf following the death of Dan Kato. Not even bribing Shin with paperwork help could save her. Even before Hisana died, Naruto had become depressed. He said it was because he couldn't save her and broke his promise. Flashback. Naruto, my dear son, you haven't broken any promise. You only wanted to help me, but I'm beyond help. After all, some things are even beyond the gods to do. Could you bring my daughters in so I can give them my last words? Hinata and the 4-year-old Hanabi were called to their mother's bedside. Hinata gravitated to her new fiancé and personal safety blanket, earning a smile from her mother. Hanabi did the same, imitating her big sister the earnest way only young siblings can get away with. Hinata, she began, my first lovely child. You've already found love for the rest of your life, just remember that your mommy loves you. Hold on to him whatever the cost. And Naruto, take care of my little Hinata for me. Naruto gave a tearful nod. And Hanabi, your mommy loves you, but I'm going to be going away, so you're going to have to look up to your big sister, okay? Find someone brave and strong like Naruto to love you. You can talk all about it with your big sister and go on dates together. The coughing fit interrupted her monologue. I love you both and want you to be happy. Look out for each other and be sure to share nicely. As they left, Naruto looked back at the sick woman. I made a promise that I would help you, and even if I can't save you this time, I will find a way to save you. No child should have to grow up without a mother. Even if I need to surpass the power of what is possible for a god. An unfamiliar girl's voice floated from an empty space. Order cannot save her, only chaos. Present. After Naruto, Hinata and Hanabi visited Hisana's grave, Naruto and Hinata would always have a semi-romantic picnic to honor her last wish and remember fond memories. However, Hanabi would always ask Hinata to come along and she could never reject her little sister. So Hanabi was always present and attentive when Naruto complimented, massaged, and romanced Hinata. In previous years the younger would stare at her sister's fiancé with longing, but this year something clicked in her mind. Naruto slipped off with Hinata to do some sparring. Hinata's atomic blush made her sister suspicious, but something more important happened. Naruto left behind a solid clone for their tag-along. Now Hanabi had seen her sister's lover make solid clones before, and she had thought about her mother's words before, wishing that she could have someone just like Naruto, but she had not put them together before. Brave and strong Naruto go on dates together and share nicely. I understand now, mama. Naruto will be both big sisters and mine. Hanabi dragged her escort to the secluded training field that the couple had chosen. Hanabi walked in on Hinata practicing her gentle fist with her boyfriend. Naruto was wearing weights on all of his limbs and trying to dodge as a blushing Hinata was doing her best to hit him and not faint as each of her hits tore open his shirt. Hanabi held up the hand of her escort clone and declared, "Big sis, we share, okay? We're gonna share." Hinata instantly understood what her sister was saying. After all, Hinata had thought about the same thing in her dreams before. Such bonding they could have. Going on dates together with the same man, perfect understanding of each other's relationships, never having to worry if your sister will find a good husband or that he would treat her as well as she deserves. There were ample reasons to bring her sister into a mini harem. The disadvantages that normally would come with a harem didn't even apply to their Uzumaki god. With shadow clones and his ridiculous stamina, why, no size of harem could ever tire him out and they all could still get all the personal time they could want. Although Ruto always said he didn't want a harem and that I was the only girl for him. Then he would always shiver and mutter something about not being a pervert. But I can't turn my little sister down. She looks so much like mother whenever she gets stubborn. Naruto, on the other hand, with his infinite relational experience, didn't think that Hanabi actually liked him, rather she just wanted to be like her sister. After all, if she liked him, she would be blushing and fainting just like Hinata, right? That's what all girls do when they really like a guy, right? Well, today is supposed to be Hinata's day, so it's up to her to decide if you can join us. He turned and whispered to his girlfriend, "It is your decision, Nada. I'll keep your sister happy if you want her to tag along on your day." Hinata looked between her sister and her boyfriend. "You can come along, Hanabi." After all, Hanabi would not talk to her for days if she said no, but Naruto would just pout and not let her cuddle until she cooked him some ramen to apologize. So she made sure to always have plenty of ramen ingredients ready so she wouldn't lose any of her precious Naru cuddle time. "Ruto only has enough food for the two of us, so why don't we go to Ichiraku's instead? That way I can pay off my ramen debt right away." The date went quite well considering the circumstances. Naruto did his best to act like an affectionate older brother to Hanabi, but unfortunately he didn't know what that was. He decided to treat her the same way he treats Hinata minus any touching. That suited Hanabi just fine at her age, it just made her want to impress him all the more. After the food had been eaten, the clone occupying Hanabi turned her head to the side to give her what he thought was a brotherly kiss to the forehead. Obviously it was a bit more than brotherly given Hanabi's moan afterwards. The original gave a glance to Hanabi after finishing what he was fairly certain was supposed to be a lover's kiss and noticed Kurenai had seen the three of them. And was coming over with a certain dangerous glint in her eye. "Oh, I'm having a date with two girls at the same time, and Kurenai is a famously hot-headed anti-pervert. I think I may have to follow Pervy Sage's example and run. Sorry girls, Kurenai looks ready to kill me, I'll make it up to you with dessert later, okay?" He gave his girlfriend a quick kiss on the cheek which cut off whatever Hinata was going to say, then dashed off. A few minutes later he found that his running had led him into the park where there happened to be a glitch. "This is perfect. She can't follow me into a glitch zone. I can escape and fix a glitch at once." Clones placed a barrier of seals around the glitch and Naruto entered the circular portal that emerged. He found himself standing in the same park with no discernible differences other than a vague sense of deja vu. "It's odd that I seem to be in the same place, but Kurenai isn't here. But I'm in my 16-year-old body, and what is wrong with the sun?" The sun was covered by a black design that looked like a blank eye held by three lines. It stood in front of the sun and caused a partial eclipse. I have never seen that design before. But at least now I'm sure that this isn't the real world. "Menma Uzumaki." A familiar voice rang out, "What do you think you're doing? You've been avoiding me, haven't you? Repent now before my greater punishment comes." "Menma, where have I heard? How did I get into that world through a glitch? And why does the sun have that design? At least I have an idea of how to get out. I need to defeat Menma, and I assume since Hinata hasn't seen him that he is at the same place as he was the first time around." "Hinata, I'm not Menma. My name is Naruto, and I'm from a different version of this world. I'm here because your Menma has been doing forbidden rituals and kidnapping Jinchuriki." "Oh, you want to play interrogation. I understand. I'm not Menma, why am I?" So that was all he got out before he fell into a plot-induced faint. At an unknown location. Naruto came to consciousness in a dark room with a single light illuminating his state. He was stripped and tied into an interrogation chair. Hinata was standing nearby wearing a short leather dress and tending to a cart of what presumably were interrogation tools. "Hinata. Where are my clothes? Another vaguely familiar voice sounded out from the darkness. This is an interrogation. Prisoners don't get to wear clothes. Kushina stepped out of the darkness. I remember the first time I interrogated Minato. He was so cute when he squirmed and made his promises. I wish I had pictures. Oh. I'll go grab a camera and we can have pictures to remember this by. And I'll call Minato, he'll want to be here too. Naruto squirmed in his restraints. Hinata. I'm not Menma. In Naruto, I'm already engaged to my dimensions Hinata. Just help me and you can have your boyfriend back. The strange mirror image of his girlfriend started her interrogation with a full body massage. What do you mean you're not Menma? You feel like Menma. She put her head to his stomach and inhaled. You smell like Menma. She then took a long lick up his core. You even taste like Menma, but better than normal. The veins around her eyes bulged as she activated her Byakugan. You have red chakra in your system, but more than normal. What happened, Menma? Did the fox do something? I keep telling you I'm not Menma. In Naruto, and in my dimension I have chakra from all 9-tailed beasts, and am already engaged to my Hinata. So please let me go, and we can get your Menma, rescue them, and you can play interrogation with him. Nope. If he's going to cheat on me with girls I haven't approved of, then I'll just take a better version of him, as my favorite. Now you're going to tell me everything I want to know, my new pet. The next few hours were a haze of far too pleasurable torture. He remembered fragments of being trapped in a waterfall of ramen that he couldn't drink until the leather-clad Hinata lifted some noodles to his mouth with her foot, his mother taking pictures, and father beaming with pride. After the torture had been finished and Kushina and Minato had retired to their bedroom, Hinata untied Naruto and placed his head in her lap. You're mine. No one else can give you joy like I can. Submit to me. You're already mine. The blonde struggled to pull himself to his feet and unknowingly caught the low collar of Hinata's dress. While the leather held, it did slide to reveal a tattoo of a red spider. That was all he saw before he fainted. The different Hinata used her suddenly changed long wild red hair to cover her boy toy as she continued repeating you're mine. I'll take care of everything for you. You're mine forever. Night. Naruto woke to the sight of Menma Uzumaki standing on the bridge in the training cave. Menma waited patiently for Naruto to get on his feet and be teleported onto the water below the bridge to start his narration. How nice of you to join me. He dramatically placed his foot atop the railing, then paused and seemed to skip a piece of time. I was planning on killing you anyway. There's something horrible coming from you, I can't let you live, something horrible. Sorry, I didn't have the option to take a bath before coming here. It's not my fault your Hinata decided to bathe me in ramen before I was teleported here. Naruto leapt into combat expecting an easy victory. He found instead that his alternate self had somehow become more powerful than even his own 6 years of dedicated training and times 10 experience had allowed. How are you so strong? I should be running circles around you compared to the last time we fought. Level scaling, bitch. And I have the cooperation of my black 9 tails. Well, I have the cooperation of all 9-tailed beasts, just let me give them their cuddles. Thank you for your patience, now I just have to hope you give me enough experience for a level up. I don't want to go back to my last save. That was hours ago, and I'd have to go though not Hinata's interrogation again. The initial battle was quickly concluded in favor of the original. However, a cutscene revealed that the fake wasn't done yet. Hee. Excellent, as expected of me. However, this isn't over. Menma stood and threw his arms to the heavens. Plot. Give me strength. I have the power, ow. The alternate Hinata used the dramatic moment to make her entrance, knocking out the distracted Menma. Good job, Naru. She cooed, as if talking to a dog. Such a good boy. You deserve a reward. She lifted the bottom of her leather dress to show her intent. I'm not your pet and you aren't my Hinata. I'm going to go and take a shower, then get cinnamon buns for my girlfriend. With his piece said and his level gained, Naruto disappeared from that world, missing the insane smile on Yami's face. Your training isn't done yet, but I'll be back. I can't wait for Hinata to use her present. Mission complete. A strange dream. Rewards. Genji. Kurenai activated, yellow flash code unlocked, chakra chains unlocked, Kushina coma unlocked. A few days later, Hokage's office. So, the Uchiha will not stop the coup. Shisui, use your Sharingan on Fugaku and have him end this madness as soon as possible. Itachi and Shisui had finished giving their report to the third Hokage. The Uchiha would not turn from their course and the time had come for drastic measures. Tonight Shisui was going to use his Mangekyo Sharingan to convince the leader to stop. The only one to disagree was Danzo Shimura. Sadly, the old Warhawk was still as war-mad as the first time through and seemingly was the only mortal more adamant on the massacre of Uchiha clan than the three gods. At night, Naruto was patrolling as much of the Leaf Village as he could, trying to find the event that the calendar said was going to happen tonight. Whatever is going to happen tonight is probably integral to stopping the Uchiha massacre. From what I heard, the first thing to go wrong was Danzo attacking Shisui. If I can stop that and kill Danzo, Sasuke won't have to kill Itachi and we can be brothers again. An unusual flicker of chakra and some other sixth sense for glitches spurred Naruto to an empty shrine that he was near. He arrived just in time to witness Danzo pull out Shisui's right eye. Damn it. I'm too late. At least I know the place now and can get here in time after the load. Aim loaded. Naruto spent his way to the scene of the crime that he had located in his previous load. Even though he arrived 5 minutes sooner, he only burst on the scene to see the same sight, Danzo ripping out Shisui's eye. Aim loaded. This time Naruto made sure to hide himself well and lie in wait for Danzo and the root force. He had clone sentries placed throughout the area to make certain that nothing could escape his sight. When the time had come when he originally felt the disturbance, it came again, but in the next training field over. Once again he failed to save the innocent man. In despair, Naruto entered his mindscape and burst into Shin's office. What do I need to do to save Shisui? Tell me. You can't save him, and even if you could, you shouldn't. He is an Uchiha, and even worse, he bears the Mangekyo Sharingan. He cannot be allowed to live. The best thing you can do is put him out of his misery early and keep his eyes out of the hands of that freak. He's a good man who had no choice in what family he was born in. Even if he is an Uchiha, he sided with the Leaf against his clan. Even Obito had redemption. And Obito died. You need to learn that the only good Uchiha is a dead Uchiha. Accept his death and take the opportunity to remove an obstacle. But don't test me, some dick just blew up a whole planet with his space station and I'm busy. You're the god of protection. You need to learn that killing one can protect hundreds. Naruto was forcefully ejected from Shin's office and sat down to think over the advice. Aim loaded. Naruto was searching the entire village looking for one man. He planned to take Shin's advice and kill one man to save hundreds. He was going to kill Danzo. Unfortunately, the man was nowhere to be found. He wasn't to be found anywhere in the village, and it seemed that wherever Root's hidden base lay was inaccessible at this time. It seemed that the world had conspired to protect this criminal until he revealed himself. Aim loaded. The god of protection had run out of options and was forced to face an ugly fact: Shisui was going to die, and the only thing he could do was to destroy his eyes and kill Danzo. The realization left a sick feeling in his stomach, but he soldiered on, determined to do all he could to protect all he could. Danzo had just taken Shisui's eye when a needle etched with an exploding seal pierced into the eye through the back of his hand and exploded. He cradled his hand as he watched the blood pool and ran off. He was drawn out of his shock when his soldiers mobilized to guard against the sudden appearance of the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. What do you think you're doing, demon? You are supposed to be a weapon. My weapon. I'm not going to obey someone who can't obey his own leader. Everything I did was for the glory of the Leaf Village. Hirizen's weak leadership is creating enemies for us on all sides. You're the enemy. You may say that you work for the Leaf, but why would you be attacking your fellow Leaf ninjas? You're the greatest threat that the Leaf has ever faced, and you will die here tonight. The first move was Danzo's. His fake arm burst from his bandages and wooden stakes broke out of the ground attempting to impale our hero. The spikes struck home only to have their target explode into smoke. Shadow clones broke out of the ground and wrapped the root agents in chakra chains. The only agent who escaped moved to cover his commander's back. Danzo staked the man through the heart, causing a cloud of smoke and revealing the agent was in a transformation. The revealed blonde continued on, dodging the spike aimed for his head and drove a spiraling sphere through the false arm of the old man. The shoulder was shredded and the arm made from the first Hokage fell to the ground and instantly decayed. The spray of blood covered everything, but Danzo took the blow with only a slight flinch. With well-practiced muscle memory, Naruto drew a line circle and tapped the first box with his first two fingers, causing kunai to appear in each of his hands as Danzo drew his sword. They clashed first in a show of brute strength that caused the ground underneath to crack, then disengaged. Danzo leapt forwards with reckless abandon and exceptional skill. He went for a horizontal swing that was ducked, then shifted into a tackle that splattered blood into Naruto's eyes. In the careless seconds spent wiping the blood off, Danzo was able to land a slash across the young god's belly. With a glance to his health bar, Naruto could see the damage healing and dropped the kunai in his left hand to grab the elder's arm and use the other kunai to stab through the hypocrite's wrist, causing the sword to fall. The victorious son of the fourth Hokage stood and delivered his sentence. Danzo, you are guilty of insubordination, murder, kidnapping, and brainwashing. Your sentence is death. He finished the man with a deep slash across his eye, an empty socket, then stabbed through both temples into the brain. The villain fell to the ground as the blood and gray matter seeped out of his skull. Naruto held back the churning in his stomach to tend to Shisui's final moments. "Shisui, I'm sorry I couldn't save you. I bear you no ill will. You saved my eye from being used for all sorts of evil." Shisui placed one hand on his remaining eye and the other over Naruto's left eye. "Please, I want you to take my other eye and keep it safe." A was activated, and when Shisui removed his hand both eyes were empty. Did you know that both the Uchiha clan and the Uzumaki clan are descendants of the Sage of Six Paths? To give a fully matured Sharingan from an Uchiha to an Uzumaki, I wonder what will result. Either way, I entrust the future of the Leaf Village to you, Naruto. Protect this great village and the precious people within. Now, end me. Naruto hesitated for a single second before tightening his grip on his kunai and slashing Shisui's throat. As the blood rushed from Shisui's throat, the feeling returned and Naruto doubled over, coughing up blood. A distant part of his mind noted that it seemed to glow, but the majority of his mind was focused on the fact that something serious was happening to his body. The health bar wasn't dropping, nor the chakra, but both were becoming brighter and growing tick marks. As the pain grew stronger, the blood stopped and he was coughing up solid pieces of glowing blue chakra. More and more of the chakra was coughed up until the chunks began to clump into shards that stopped his airway. The chakra then began to push itself out of his skin, forming an armored prison. After multiple hours of the excruciating torture, the crystals broke and Naruto fell to the ground unconscious and changed. Naruto woke in his mindscape with skin that almost radiated light and wearing a set of armor that fit him like a second skin. Shin was standing nearby applauding, and Megami and Yami were prowling around waiting for their man to let his guard down. "What in my name happened there? Congratulations, kid, you had your first ascension. My present is to let you keep that cursed eye since your power stabilized it. Anyway, I have work to do, so ask either of the girls if you want to know anything about your ascension." Megami began explaining and circling her master. "Ascension happens when you develop a new power." Yami joined and circled opposite. "It lets you use the new power and strengthens any existing powers. For you, it will strengthen anything you do with your chakra. You will be careful until I'm done training you." The few facts clicked into place and Naruto tackled Yami and moved the top strap of her outfit to reveal the red marking. "Red spider tattoo, and I'm on top of her. This was a bad idea, but at least I know what was wrong with the other Hinata." Bindings of black leather quickly engulfed him as Yami rose to her feet. "Bad boy, jumping on me like that. I guess I do have time for some extra training right now. This stuff is blocking my chakra and Shin has already left, so I guess I have no choice. Megami, could you please help me?" No response. Megami. "Nothing. Why isn't she responding to her? She wants me to call her that, doesn't she? Slave. Get me out of this bind." With a shiver of pleasure, Megami obeyed and Naruto was quickly freed and escaped. Real world. Next morning, day of Uchiha massacre. The young god awoke and quickly rushed to a mirror to check for any changes between the ascension and the Sharingan transplant. He had grown a few inches already, as tall at 9 as he was in his genin days. His eyes didn't seem different at first glance, but when he ran chakra through, he found that his left eye morphed into a variant of the stage 3 Sharingan, his eye remaining white and the marks of the sun, moon and a star replacing the normal marks in blue. His chakra had changed as well. While there was no more of it, the shape had changed into a suit of armor against chakra attacks. He was certain that was all Yami meant when she said the effects of his chakra would be strengthened. Allowing his new eye to return to normal, Naruto went about his daily routine and headed off to the academy with Hinata. He waded through the normal crowd of fangirls asking for dates and directed them to Hinata for a more painless rejection. After all, he can only have one girlfriend at a time, right? Otherwise all of Sasuke's fangirls would have just shared. And there's no way Hinata would want to share her Naru time after he became her only comfort after her mother's death. Let it not be said that Naruto is omniscient. Continuing on his way, he proceeded to carry his girlfriend through any traps the more enthusiastic fangirls have set up. He would have preferred to just have used body flicker to jump into the classroom, but the fangirls had improved their trap making so much with his critiques that he couldn't bring himself to skip the traps. He took his normal seat front and center with Hinata on his right. Sakura took her traditional seat to his left. Satsuki took her seat behind Sakura and Ino her seat behind Hinata. Strangely, no one ever sat directly next to Satsuki for whatever reason, most likely because of the visible cloud of killing intent she emitted. Fangirls from every class always stayed as long as they could, conversing with their crusher each other about strategies, new designs, and layouts for traps or other idle chatter. Fenton would always arrange a date for training, and Hana would try to find an item with her alphas sent to use while training her puppies. The bell signaling the start of class rang, the fangirls scattered, and lessons started as normal. Naruto spent the day getting used to his new eye and wondering why no one seemed to notice that he had the new mutation or that he suddenly grew a few inches overnight. After class he went to train, as normal. Normally Naruto would send clones to train anyone interested, and the original would train with one of the future Jonin team leaders, especially Kurenai, who recently started actively seeking him out to train. The only strange part is that she insisted he learn without a shirt after he fixed the Genjutsu World Glitch Zone. The day the original planned to train with Sasuke to keep him out of the way during the Uchiha massacre. Of course Itsuki took it a slightly different way, not having the benefit of limited foreknowledge. Her joy could be seen by everyone but Naruto, who continued to ignore the beginning signs of femininity in his friend's face and build. After all, Sasuke wasn't exactly the most rugged and masculine-looking guy he knew the first time around. An hour before sundown the clones dispelled and the original took a break to meditate and eat with his girlfriend. In an almost considerate move, Naruto invited Sakura to the meal as well, trying to give Sakura what he thought she wanted and to keep Sasuke from feeling like a third wheel. It didn't work. Satsuki was reminded that Naruto wasn't hers, Sakura had the disapproving glare of her mistress the whole time, and Hinata had to deal with Satsuki's passive-aggressive attitude. Naruto was oblivious to it all. He had his focus on the clones he had sent out to try to save some of the innocent from among the Uchiha clan. The clones weren't faring very well. Tobi was ignoring the clones and tearing the Uchiha apart from his portals. Itachi was focusing on the clones, but they weren't having any luck stopping him. Itachi was truly worthy of his rank as Anbu captain. Naruto ordered his clones to fall back and left only 2 for a last-ditch attempt to save someone. He sighed as he considered loading. I could load, but it doesn't seem it will do any good. It seems they share Shisui's fate. The oblivious boy looked up from his meditation just in time to see Sasuke leave the invisible border of the training ground and disappear, heading home. He excused himself with a quick kiss on the cheek for his girlfriend and headed to the Uchiha compound. When he arrived, he found the majority of the clan dead faster than expected, but also found evidence that his plan bore some fruit. Mikoto Uchiha was unconscious in the arms of a clone that was explaining the death of Danzo to Itachi and Shisui's final words. Satsuki took that touching moment to burst into the door. In what could have been a reflex, Itachi cast Tsukiyomi on her. She slumped to the floor, and Naruto was left with 2 unconscious females to take care of, and Itachi's parting request to take care of her. Achievement unlocked. Mother's best friend. Uchiha compound inherited achievement unlocked. She should be dead. Slave collars activated. Satsuki was having a nightmare. She was forced to witness the murder of her family by her beloved older brother. And every time she ran out of family it began again. Then she felt the comforting presence of her boyfriend and his chakra like a lover's embrace, and the nightmare shifted. She was grown up and married to her love and had dozens of new sisters that were her new family. She hated it. Merely one of his wives when she was in Uchiha and the first to love him. She could not accept that. She fought the invisible bonds holding her until the dream shifted to her greatest desire. Warning, mild sexual content to the end of the paragraph. She sat on her husband God's lap 10 years from then, and he made love to her on his throne. Sakura was nearby, nursing the newest Uchiha after she had been allowed to mother a branch family from her god seed. The Hyuga was given the honor of being able to lick up any of her god seed that fell on the floor, and if she did a good job, off of her goddess's body after a satisfying session. All of the people of the elemental nations paid them tribute. Naruto and Satsuki Uchiha were the deities of the land, and they restored the Uchiha to their rightful place and added branch families for many worthy women. In the waking world, Naruto had brought Satsuki and Mikoto to the hospital where he was admitted without question, due to the reverence given to him after the revelation of his parentage. He stood outside the door as the doctors examined Satsuki and overheard their examination. He was glad that his best friend was miraculously much better than he should be, but was confused when they continued talking about the poor girl. Why would they be talking about Mikoto when they were examining Sasuke? After only a few seconds he banished the train of thought when they announced that the patient was already waking up. Satsuki sat up with the help of the attending doctors. Her first sight was of a concerned Naruto rushing to her bedside, making her think for a second that her dream was true and reach for an embrace. Naruto took her hands and pulled her fully upright, fully missing the point. I'm glad you're feeling alright. After what Itachi did to you I was worried you wouldn't wake up. I had to carry you and your mother to the hospital. Satsuki blushed. He carried me in his arms. I wonder if he took the opportunity to check my recent growth. I've been drinking lots of milk and I'm sure I can outmatch that Hyuga in a few years. Was that a blush? Did Sasuke just blush? No, that's impossible. He must be turning red out of anger. Thank you for saving my mother and me. Itachi killed the rest of the clan, didn't he? I'm sorry I couldn't stop your brother, but don't chase after him. there was another man there. Itachi was actually doing everything to try to save some lives from the man in the orange mask. Itachi explained it to me. There was a plot to kill all of the Uchiha, but if he did it himself he could save your life. Right now he's on a mission spying on that man for the village, so he can't come back for a long time. But when he can return, won't you tell him you forgive him? Test of trust, RL required 10,000, current RL, 15,357. Alright Naruto. I won't try to kill my brother, but you have to help me when it comes time to restore the Uchiha clan. You're the only one I trust. Why would he need my help? Pervy Sage did manage to teach me that it takes a boy and a girl to make a baby before he went off the pervy end. Sasuke knows I'm a guy, so is he really a girl? Nah, that's impossible. He probably wants me to help him find a wife or make a treaty between our clans. I'll help as much as I can. That's a promise of a lifetime. A few days after the Uchiha massacre, Naruto was on his way to an appointment with the Hokage to talk about the Uchiha, but was taking his time to enjoy the more mediocre fruits of his labor, walking the streets and receiving smiles and well wishes from almost everyone. All it took to have the goodwill of the people was to save the heir of one of the noblest clans, save a less noble clan's heir from disability and despair, be effective entering the academy, be the son of their most worshipped hero, and seemingly save a different noble clan from extinction. So, nothing too ridiculous, like having to save the village twice before he was seen as a hero. The oddest thing was that no matter where he went, half of the conversation seemed to be about his exploits, some of which the idle civilians should have no way of knowing. Hey there, savior of the world. Saved another princess, did you? Keep your promise to do your best to help revive the Uchiha, wouldn't want little Satsuki getting mad at you. Ha ha ha. Mentally filtering Satsuki as Sasuke, Naruto continued on his way pondering the mechanics of the chatter system. Who is stalking me, reporting what I do, and saying to everyone. Elsewhere Ino Yamanaka sneezed. He came out of his musings just in time to avoid running into Sakura, who was just leaving the tower with her mother. Naruto had a moment to wonder why Sakura was wearing a collar, as the girl did a modified curtsy that lifted the front and back of her skirt in a way that was almost obscene. Sakura held a pose, as if waiting for something. Fortunately no one seemed to notice or care what the pink-haired girl was doing, including the girl's mother who seemed to be walking in place. I didn't take Sasuke to be the collar type. It always seemed to me he'd be the type to get a girl pregnant, then leave her alone. Oh well, what interests him with Sakura is no longer my concern. Sakura can have Sasuke, I have my little Hina. But more importantly, this will be bug number 10, new achievement unlocked. Sakura called to the still waiting girl, once he unfroze her mother, go with your mother. Only then did the slave let down her curtsy and go on with her day. Achievement unlocked. Neo, anagram of 1, leather coat unlocked. The son of the 4th Hokage climbed his way to the top of the tower, pushing his way through saluting ninjas, crowds of paper pushers, and pillars of paperwork. He was waved into the Hokage's office where he took a seat and tried to remember what he did wrong that would have gotten him yelled at. Hiruzen fixed the son of his predecessor's successor. Intercessor. Whatever. Hiruzen fixed the sons of Minato and Kushina in a harsh glare. How were you able to save Mikoto? What do you know about the death of Shisui Uchiha? What do you know about the Uchiha rebellion? Why am I always the last one to hear these important things? How can you be so oblivious? And why am I doing this interrogation and not Ibiki? An order, substitution, and shadow clones, killed by Danzo and avenged by me, not as much as I need to know, because you don't listen to gossip, it's a skill I spent many years developing and am quite proud of, and finally. Because this conversation is probably a bug that was never supposed to happen. One debug later. Hiruzen once again rubbed his temples to mitigate the oncoming headache. The Uchiha were planning a coup to overthrow the entirety of the Leaf Village, and Mikoto was one of the ringleaders of the rebellion along with her husband. She is a criminal and deserved to die more than most who did that day. But because you saved her she is now your responsibility. In addition, since you now own the last adult member of the Uchiha clan, the Uchiha complex is now yours. Do with your new property anything you want. His speech was interrupted when he erupted into perverted giggles. Just stay out of trouble and don't let your fiancé get jealous. The Hokage continued after compassing himself. I did actually manage to hear about your promise to Satsuki, which probably means the whole village already knows it. I just have to ask if you fully understood what that implied and if you still agree. Exuberant, as the genin days talking with the old man were brought back, Naruto immediately answered. I don't fully know what he means, but I always stand by my promises. Hiruzen couldn't decide between giggling perversely and face-palming. Naruto, what she meant was that she wanted you to be the father of the next generation of Uchiha. But won't that make me his dad in a way? Audible sweat drop. Why not? I'd be the father of his half-siblings. After all, Mikoto is the only woman left in the Uchiha clan. Well yeah she is, but suddenly a very pervy idea popped into his head. We'll deal with that later. After all, you still need some training in certain areas and I know just the man. I'm going to call your godfather and have him take over your training. He should be back in a few months. If you do well I'll have some missions you can do. As the boy left he was followed by another round of pervy giggles. The Yamanaka compound, 10Y1 Manta, 10 years, 1 month after Nine Tails' attack. Ino had just gotten home from her shift at the rumor mill when a thought struck her. Daddy, hypothetically how much would it cost to hire a ninja to kidnap someone? Inoichi almost choked on the tea he was drinking when his daughter asked him the question. He quickly turned to face her to get a reading on her thoughts. No signs of fear, so this isn't a security question. No sign of anger, not revenge. Slight blush on her cheek though, it's a boy she's interested in. The only boy she expressed interest in would be Naruto. Now why kidnapping? Get him away from Hinata? No, she's good friends with Hinata. Always talked about a harem with her even. Probably would happen if Naruto didn't have such a warped perception of himself. A harem of loving and lovely girls is exactly what this doctor orders, but it will only be a fantasy ever since the marriage contract was made after the Cloud kidnapping attempt. Wait, I heard about another marriage contract after the boy saved Satsuki and Mikoto. I get it now. Both Hinata and Satsuki were able to set up marriage contracts after Naruto saved them and Ino wanted in. Sorry princess, that isn't going to work. Naruto is a very troubled young man who deserves your affection and needs it, but the problem is he doesn't think he deserves it and won't accept it because he's a gentleman. Please daddy, can we try it? Her eyes seem to double in size and start to shimmer. I can never say no to that face. I'll try to get Kakashi to do it, he's definitely willing to try to set up a harem for his little brother. But we'll only do it once you're older. Is that okay princess? I'll get his love, I just know it. Inyazuka compound, 10Y2 Manta. Hana Inyazuka was in the veterinary clinic with her mother, learning how to take care of certain injuries. She just finished trapping the leg of her last patient, a fox that was hurt by some academy students doing target practice. The fox seemed to test the leg before standing on it, then he gave her a smile that reminded her far too much of a certain blonde alpha as she wanted to chase her. Mom. How do you get an alpha to challenge you? Tsume was about to give her daughter an inspiring speech about being her own alpha when she saw the fox her daughter was healing. A smile slipped onto the 29-year-old widow's lips. Trying to get with Minato's son, are you? If I was only a few years younger. The woman shook her head to clear the forming images and wiped off the drool from the corner of her mouth. What you need to do is slowly seduce him. Rub up against him. Hug him from behind and squeeze. Make sure he always gets a good smell of you whenever you pass. Hana nodded. I'll definitely get in. She hugged her mother. I'll try and get him interested so you can enjoy him too. Hana ran off to find her alpha, and Tsume was left with a head full of fantasies about being dominated by Naruto with his endless stamina, limitless power, feral whisker marks, and endowments to match his power. The floor and her fingers had to be thoroughly cleaned to hide any evidence. Small town in Land of Rice, 10Y3 Manta. Jiraiya was engaging in his favorite pastime of hot spring peeping. He had one eye pressed up against a small hole in the outside wall of the hot spring, as experience had taught him that was the best position to get frontal views, and he was riding furiously. There weren't any kunoichi among the bathing women, so he was mostly safe from discovery. The downside, of course, is that the girls just weren't quite as good as the chakra-enhanced beauties of the ninja villages. A friendly giggle sounded from just behind him. He closed his notebook to greet what was obviously one of his fans. Kakashi stood leafing through a copy of Makeout Paradise and giggling. Jiraiya greeted him and said, "Welcome my fan." He began his introductory dance to the presence of the gallant Jiraiya. "The author of the masterpiece you hold in your hand. For finding me you are entitled to one autograph." Kakashi held out his well-worn book with childlike glee evident in his one eye. When Jiraiya opened the book he found a letter marked with the kanji for Makeout Paradise X Gutsy Shinobi. He signed the book, then sat down to read the letter as Kakashi stared in awe at his now autographed book. The message inside the letter was short. "Jiraiya is my only loyal student, your godson needs your expertise. Doesn't realize his best friend is a girl and wants his children. Already engaged to Hisana's daughter. Cra ready for man and fiancé approval. Endless supply of research material. Return as soon as possible. Hiruzen. My godson needs my help. I can't lose him to monogamy and prudishness like I lost Minato. I must guide him in the way of the pervert." Jiraiya's voice echoed around the small village he was snooping around, and after a second a low rumbling started. Within moments the wall of the hot spring was battered down by an army of angry women in towels and bathing suits. Leaf Village, Academy Training Field, 10Y5 Manta. Naruto was just finishing his training for the day with Tenten. They were training alone, as most of the other girls had opted for a girls' night out at the hot spring, and Satsuki had disappeared somewhere immediately after class ended. The training pair had spent the day doing physical exercises at the Kunoichi's request. They had spent the day running around the academy, Naruto wearing weights, doing push-ups, Tenten doing hers on Naruto's broader back, and practicing punches and kicks on a log. Naruto tearing through trees with his force. The poor girl had tired herself to the point of paralysis, trying to keep up with the handicapped Naruto. Being a gentleman at heart, Naruto offered to carry her home. But he admitted, rubbing the back of his head and smiling sheepishly, "I don't know where you live." Her eyes drooped. "I live in an orphanage. My mother left me on the steps of the orphanage and died trying to keep me warm until they found me. I don't know anything about my dad." She began to tear up. "I want to be like Tsunade and be strong even when I've lost everyone, but I can't." Naruto went into his automatic comfort mode. He wrapped the crying girl in a hug and whispered comforts. "Let it out." Even Tsunade was hurt by the loss of her loved ones. She was weak actually. Did you know she ran away from her sadness for 20 years? You're a strong Tenten, you can deal with this and come out stronger. After 15 minutes of letting herself cry, Tenten stopped her tears and just hugged her friend tighter. "I just want a family. Someone who will scold me if I get back from training late, someone who will put bandages on my cuts. And someday sisters will make me so mad, but I love them all the more for it." She wiped her face dry on her sleeve. "I'm sorry, I wasted your time with my crying. You don't have to take me back, I can walk." After a few steps she almost collapsed from the workout and emotional strain. Naruto caught her and started to carry her in his arms as she fell asleep. Tenten was having a dream, or perhaps seeing a memory in her sleep. She was 18 and watching two bushy-browed boys that she identified as older and younger brothers of hers, even though the older one was old enough to be her teacher. She felt such pride that they had finally grown up. She was talking to another brother, this one was the responsible one. He just needed a good beating to get out of his emo phase. After a few minutes Naruto came back from shopping for her anniversary gift. He handed her a wrapped package with a greeting kiss and a warning not to open it until they were home. When they opened the door to their compound they were greeted by good-natured heckling from her harem sisters. "You're holding up the show, Tenten. Why does it have to be so hard to shop for?" Her husband joined in. "What can you get for the girl who has every weapon?" The woman herself could only respond, "I'm here now, so let's open the gifts." She opened her own gift to find multiple vials filled with his blood, the set of specialty Fuinjutsu brushes she wanted, and the vampire killing whip she was ogling. She mirrored the actions of most of her sisters and tackled her husband into a hug. "You remembered the brushes. And you even gave me some of your blood to use when I only told you once that your blood worked so much better for seals. Thank you so much." She lowered her voice to a more husky tone as she pushed him prone. "I know just how to thank you." Mild sexual content to the end of the paragraph. The weapon girl pulled a kunai from her sleeve and cut open the not nearly revealing enough top so she could ogle her husband's perfect chest. She started licking right above his heart and she could taste the love he held for her. It tasted divine. As she went for more she was able to tell how much better it tasted with the addition of his love for her harem sisters. Once she had whetted the appetite she started going lower, tasting all of the different flavors, each better than the last. When she reached the waistline of his pants she tried to tug them down, only to be stopped by hands gently trying to stop her. The mental dissonance between the desires of the dream Naruto and the resistance of the real one caused her to come out of her sleep silently. The bun-headed girl looked around trying to figure out where she was and how much she had dreamed. After a few seconds she assessed that she was sadly back in her bed at the orphanage, but had the man of her dreams gently trying to loosen her fingers from his coat. Even better, the taste was real, she could see his perfect chest through the tatters of the shirt he was earning under the coat and the wet marks where she licked him. She let one of her hands be removed, but when her god went to remove the other, she grabbed it with both of hers and started sucking on his fingers and wishing the dream to come back so she didn't have to stay wishing for a family. She had to withhold a pleasured moan at the taste. Hard work, dedication, caring, and a hint of my future sister's perfume. How is every part of him so good? After a minute Naruto rubbed her head, then extracted his hand from her mouth. He stayed by her for a few more minutes giving her a back rub. Before he left he leaned down close to her ear and whispered, "I'll find a family for you. You don't have to be alone anymore." When the young man left he didn't see the smile on the girl's face. Next day, after classes. Who would be the best parents for Tenten? I should keep an eye out for couples that want a child but don't have one. Naruto was running errands for his fiancée. As an apology for being too late for them to take a bath together, Hinata took every second of her Naru time very seriously. So the original took the day off of training to make sure the errands were done so he and Hinata could have an extra nice night. His last stop was the Higurashi's weapon shop to pick up some extra training kunai and shuriken. Tajiro Heaven's Blade Higurashi was a pleasant man with an easy smile on his youthful face. He was a shinobi until the end of the Third Shinobi World War when he settled down, married his tomboyish wife Misao, and built his weapon shop. Hey there, Naruto. What are you buying? Even better, he was one of the few to help Naruto in his first life and now was one of the few that still treated him like a normal person and a friend. I need 2 sets of training. Kunai and shuriken. Running errands for your girlfriend. She's got you trained well. Ho ha. Well, I was out training with a friend for too long and couldn't take a bath with her. It was very important to her. And now you're in the doghouse until you make it up to her? No, but I still want to make it up to her tonight, so I'm clearing some time for a special night tonight. Oh. Are there going to be little Uzumaki Hyuga children getting weapons here in a few years? The marriage isn't until after we graduate from the academy. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.